This is the IBM Museum. So now with the process complete for upgrading this IBM PS2 Mol 70 to the what's called the BXX CPU daughter card, and that has a 486DX25 CPU on it. I've got the system closed and I've cleaned it up a little bit. I'm going to go through and rebadge it, and then we are going to run the system information tool on this. So I've got some metal scapulas out and X-Acto knives just to see how easy this will be to get the old badge off. And for durability, IBM seems to have done the job. I of course want to get this badge off in the best possible way. Wow. I'm even just trying to get the blade. Okay. So there I hear the coming loose, and I have these nice little lost my edge and about stuck down again. Okay, so that's just plastic with that metallicized paint for the, and I just have my isopropyl alcohol. I've got things like Goo Be Gone and, oh yeah, but alcohol goes through and looks like it cuts that adhesive pretty good. Okay. So I think I have just about have enough of this off to prevent any uneven application. Boy, this stuff is it just keeps coming back though. Being Yeah, and I should have a, as it is, of course it's sticking to my shop paper towel, and I was using the dry sections to just push the excess adhesive. And since it's in a recess, that's kind of more of a challenge to get it wiped out of there. Yeah, maybe I should have got out the Gooby Gone or something else to cut that old adhesive a little bit more. Okay. Well, IBM made it last. Okay, so here is the new badge. PS Personal System 2, model 7486. And it has its own adhesive. Okay. That nestles in there nice. Looks like it came from the factory that way. And so I think that part is through, and we are ready to try and run the system information tool on this. So we want to get switched over to VGA. I guess I'll need to do my input on my TV too. Okay, no signal. And okay. And now that the system's configured, we do see that RAM count being faster. It's got that nice, fresh Panasonic battery in it that I put in on the previous video. I'll probably even grab, because I think I did see this loading a mouse driver before. Yep. Oop. Okay. It does clip a little bit of the left-hand edge. Even me going through and adjusting things doesn't seem to bring that left-hand side. Okay, so I've already put that on the hard drive. We'll run the patched version. Tribute to Major Tom for our thanks for him going through and patching SIT with the errors that he found. Now, I don't have any adapters in there. On this system, and that should quickly change. I think I'll go through and okay, so our hard drives by drive letter, logical drives installed, volume label of hard disk, and it's a 120 dBA ESDI drive. And I've got close to about 100 megabytes of that drive of it still available. Okay. Okay. I guess I do have, looks like I have a mouse pointer. To get that off to the side, it's just a standard block cursor. And the partition table. Okay. An OEM name, IBM 6.0. Okay, and our diskette drives, with me hunting around to find a working diskette drive during the previous video, and it's the 1.44, what they consider the small button, on the sled for the MUL 70. Okay, keyboard information. And this is an old school PS2. This is, you know, among the MUL 70 was among the initial releases in April of 1987. And so a lot of the functionality, even the submodel encoding style, is that older PS2. Okay, so, and it supports the 101 and 102 key keyboards. Get typomatic rate supported, set typomatic rate supported, return to default typomatic rate supported. Okay, memory information. Okay, memory hardware. Okay, and so here we get a little bit more of a descriptive area for what's on the system. Now, the interesting thing to me here, and I'll have to see if this is a bug, because it counted, there's 8 megabyte, because there's 4 times the 2 megabyte SIMs. It's actually the 2 megabyte 80 nanosecond parity SIMs. And so I don't know why it's saying that there's 4 megabyte installed on the system board. It should be twice that number. It should be 8 megabyte. And supported modules are that 2 megabyte 80 nanosecond, 2 megabyte 70 nanosecond, and I would it'd probably be worthwhile. No, it's saying that the system board, even supporting that 4 megabyte 70 nanosecond parity and 8 megabyte 80 nanosecond parity and 70 nanosecond parity, I think that's wrong. That doesn't sound correct. As far as I knew, the MUL 70 boards were able to do that. Typically the older MULs, the 2 megabyte 85 nanosecond, and the later MULs, the 2 megabyte 85 nanosecond. I mean the 80 nanosecond. And if I can go through and set up some 2 megabyte to report themselves as 70 nanosecond, I mean, that might be worth a try. It'd be good to have faster memory on this system. Okay, and see there we have total usable. And what's the one time that I forget to take the battery out of the cordless phone? That time. Okay, so this is reporting the RAM a little bit better. Okay, I do have it turned off on my regular cell phone. Okay, and so that's more correct for this area. For that may be just other bugs in that memory hardware section. Okay, and there's the layout of the memory. Okay. And the system feature bytes information. Second interrupt chip is present. Real-time clock is present. Wait on external event is unsupported. Extended BIOS data area is allocated. System has a microchannel bus. DMA supports 24-bit address space. Keyboard functionality call supported. Return POS data call supported. Return memory map call supported. Enable disable processor function call supported. And that's due to that separate CPU complex. We're getting at the very start of where that processor functions call being supported for these MULs, the AXX and the BXX for the cache and that CPU of starting to be the support for that functionality. 8042 keyboard controller in system. Data streaming is unsupported. SCSI subsystem not present on the system board. Information panel is not installed. This is not an IML system. SCSI support is not in the IML image. Okay. Mouse information. We do have a mouse driver installed, that block cursor. So it's a PS2 type. And the driver version 8.32, probably a Microsoft mouse driver. Or maybe, who knows, it might be some IBM driver 2 because it's in PC-DOS, operating system information, and IBM PC-DOS 6.00. Okay, model and processor information. Okay, and this looks to be correctly identified for every level here at least. And machine name IBM PS2 model 7046, just like it's now badged. Processor 80486. Speed in megahertz 25, and those are probably canned values. If I put a DX2 in there, when I go through and do benchmarking of these systems, we'll need to see, that likely will not change. Coprocessor just identifies the CPU again, 80486DX. Internal cache is present, and that's an 8 KB L1 cache that the 46 CPU had. Not talking about any L2 cache that CPU complex card, as we saw in the previous video, does not have any of that. So the model is F8, and that's the 386SX and above again. So just that encompasses, for that BIOS model, just encompasses a lot of range. Submodel is 1B. BIOS revision 00, as we saw from the reference diskette that we made, that 1.06 reference diskette. And the BIOS ROM date of December the 1st, 1989. System board POS ID or planar ID of F9FF. And I think I did have that on my planar ID page. Parallel and serial port information, again, just the number of ports on the system of each type, not any further details, it just beeps. Okay, SCSI information should not bring up anything, of course, without SCSI being present. And video information. Okay, and just standard VGA color display and the 256 KB of VRAM. So that's what System Information Tool looks like when it's run on this PS2 model 70486. And there's some areas that, like the memory hardware, that seems to be off, but there is a little bit more detail that's presented there, and at least it also identifies the model correctly and that information. So if you enjoyed this video, click on that like button, and by all means subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and recommend that to your friends if they are interested in this sort of content as well. But that's all I have for now. This is IBM Museum. Thank you.